everyone, your designers are here.
I'm Anita with Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you, so let's get started.
This is episode 55. End tables and endless possibilities.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. That's a good one.
Oh, yes. Well, what can I say? So today we're talking about selecting an end table and about styling them. So let's talk about what kind of item you might use for an end table first. What do you have for your end tables?
Well, I'll start. I have all different kinds of things, from very traditional, like on either side of my sofa in the living room, I have a very large sort of leather covered, but it's black stylized end table. And on the other side, I have one that has two shelves, but they're both the same size and they're both the same color. So that works. I have
black leather. What kind of? I'm not sure I'm following that one. What?
The top of the it's a big square table.
Oh, okay.
It
with
has
a leather top.
like a black leather with all these beautiful, the nail heads all around the edge.
Oh, got
of
it. Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
But it's not the same as the other side. But the size is the same and the color is the same. And I have a small round table that has a mirrored tray that literally comes off as another little end table in a family room. And I actually have an antique desk that I painted, and I'm using that as an end table.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of just like your the only place I have sort of what I would call standard end tables are the ones I have in my living room. Kelly, how about you?
Oh, yeah. I tend to go off the grid with my end tables, too. You know, I like to have little cheapo thrift store tables, or I pick up these little orphans and I might paint them or something like that.
Kelly, excuse me. Weren't you the one that said you have all those little orphan tables in your barn?
I do.
Okay, sorry, continue.
I'm taking good care of them.
Okay.
Until I can find
Kelly,
little homes for them. I'm fostering them.
Oh,
so
that's
Kelly,
so
I think
cute.
that's a great idea, and I really want to point this out because what a wonderful way to add some interest and fun and liveliness to your room, to go find some vintage, unique table or something maybe that's not even meant to be used as an end table, and use that. I mean, that's going to be a conversation starter, and it just really can give you some pop and wow to your room.
And
yeah, no, I would not spend a
keeps-
lot of money for an end table. And when we're talking about end tables, we're talking about the tables on either side of your sofa,
Yes.
or next to a couch, or if there's a reading table somewhere. I'm reading chair. I'm sorry, and then you have a little table next to it. So that's generally what we're talking about. We're not really talking about nightstands on either side of your bed today. We'll maybe talk about that at a different episode about bedrooms. What I do right now. What's in your living room right now? Well, I have a really lovely antique table, which is more like it's like a little perch almost. It's a very small little table, and it was an antique that my mom had collected. It doesn't have four legs. It has one center.
Is it like a pedestal?
Kind of like a little pedestal table, yeah. And then I have these Florentine nesting tables that
love
can
those.
I just
I
say
have those
again,
too.
I saw them at the Rachel Ashwell store for like $625, and I got them for $5 each. And then I said, well, would you take 8 for all of them? And we negotiated, so I paid $10 for all 3 of them. I just wanted to tell you that again.
Man.
I think I might have
Kelly.
mentioned that before.
You used to be able to get them really cheap, and then I noticed they started popping up on a couple of blogs, and then all of a sudden the price was
Those
10
bloggers,
times. I
once
know.
they get a hold of
Stop
something.
that.
And Kelly, here's what I'm thinking when I come to visit you before the Rose Bowl parade. As a lovely parting gift, an end table would be perfect.
I would, yes. You can go into the nursery and pick out.
How are you
going to
put that on the plane, Yvonne?
And I will take very good care of it.
I know
I'll
you
wear
will.
it if I have to.
And you'll paint it and make it beautiful again.
Yes, and here's the thing. You just said the magic word. two of my end tables are new, and I got them at a very fine furniture store, but on really, excuse me, closeout sale. But
Love
the rest,
me a closeout sale.
I know.
I just got a little shiver when you said that.
But I painted a lot of mine, and this is like my little message to all of you. Almost every time we talk, learn how to paint a piece of furniture, because like all your little orphans, what a great idea!
Okay,
And
has everyone been listening to Yvonne? Because I mean, it is very great advice, and she does tell you that. So I think she would like to see some pictures of some things that you might.
Oh, that would be
yes,
fun.
brilliant.
So
yes.
maybe the same vignette gals, or maybe a whole new crew will send us some pictures, so Yvonne can see that you're really paying attention.
Oh, please.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the idea that you brought up, Kelly and Anita, I know you do this too, is you can find them so inexpensively and make them look just perfect and make them fit with your decor, your colors.
Exactly. And I love what you were saying about the two that you have. They're not the same, but they're the same color and they're the same height. So if you have something that you love and maybe you paid a nice sum for, and so you want to use it and keep it, and then you didn't have a mate, or you didn't want to spend the money on another one, so just paint it the same color or get it close enough to the same color so there's some symmetry.
Right. And
That's
I
so
agree with you.
important.
I think you want them the same height. They don't have to be the same, but it can look a little wonky if they're not a similar color. So I would definitely kind of
Yes.
try to
It's
stay.
busy, it's a lot of
Yes.
visual noise going on if there's different colors. While we're talking about height, so let me jump in here. Just so, again, we like to know the rule, and then we can decide
we
whether
can
we're going to
break
break
it.
it, right? So,
Which I usually do, but go ahead.
right. So standard-ish is about 25 inches from the floor for the height of a end table. That's about the size of standard sofa arm. So you kind of, if you're following the rule, you want it sort of level with that. So it would feel natural if somebody was to put a glass down or a book or something like that. So, but again, all sofas are not the same height, but there's a range. So 25 is usually where you're going to be, but there is the range of 22 to 30 inches, depending on your sofa height. But again, that's really up to you. Anita likes a tall table.
Well,
so if
I
you fall in love with a little table, maybe you're going to want a little table.
Well, but I'm going to say my opinion is that if you're going to if you're not going with the rule, I would recommend going taller versus shorter. I think it can really end up looking stumpy if it's too short. So I
agree
tend
with
to
you,
err
Anita.
on, and a lot of times I do go with a taller table. But right now I have two trays that are, kind of some brass looking trays that are removable off of the stands. They're very heavy handled ones, that I got at Soft Surroundings, but they sold out. They don't have these anymore, but they're gorgeous and mirrored in the bottom of the trays and just gorgeous. But I love it because they're mirrored. And the nice thing is you can put a drink on them. And, that's the other thing I like is something. If you can get a surface where you can just set a drink on it, that's fabulous, because someone's not going to be using a coaster. And I admit, I'm kind of the Monica running with the coaster to put underneath the drink.
I have little piles of coasters everywhere. Would you
Yes,
like
a
a
little
coaster?
Friends reference there. So,
And see, that's my must-have on a side table. A nice
are
set
the
of
coasters? But see, mine are mirrored, so you can put the glass wherever
There
you
you
want,
go.
and I'm not going to even flinch.
And we're talking about. We're
The
not
fact that you
talking
said
about-
you're not going to flinch makes me think you might flinch a little. Just like,
If it was
She's
wood,
gonna be
I might be a
flinched
little
less
I
if it's
might
ra-
be
if it's
noticing
mirrored.
if there's a
well, that's what happens. People do that, and that's what a lot of my little Foster tables have ring marks on them.
Oh, yes, they do.
Because
Yeah.
people have abused them, and then people don't want them anymore because they haven't listened to Yvonne, and they don't know they can simply paint them and make the ring go away.
Paint them. Here's something I look for when I'm looking for an end table. I like to have a bottom shelf on an end table.
Oh, yeah, that's nice too.
The two in my living room, the big square table that has sort of the black leather top, that has a nice size shelf. And then the one that is on the opposite side also does. It actually has two shelves. And I love them to put books on. I've really been just something decorative. I've been putting white cake plates, just a white cake plate, and it looks so pretty on a
Like
shelf.
a pedestal or a
Yes,
pile of them?
no, a
Oh,
pedestal.
pretty.
Yeah, and I just happen to have I just have such a big plethora of them. I decided I'd do that one day, and I like how they look. But I really like having those extra shelves that you can just, stick maybe a basket and put some books in it, or just like stack a really nice stack of books. It gives it a little surface, because the one thing you don't want the top of your end table to be is crowded.
Well, that's a good point. And Yvonne, I'm going to add what you're saying, kind of talk about the shelf underneath. If you have a small space, then a lot of times you don't have a lot of storage. So in that case, you can't afford to have just a table. It has to be, a chest or something with some
That's
shelves underneath
good
it,
point, Anita.
so that you get some storage out of that,
Yeah.
footprint that's being used. So.
It's a great idea for storage. If you have kids and they have little toys, little Polly Pockets, or little Legos, or little puzzle pieces, that might be a great place too. And each one could have their own. If you had 2 kids, then each one could have their own basket, and that's where they put their stuff. Because oftentimes, in some of your family room is your living room, and you're walking over all this stuff all the time. If there's a place to put it, somebody might, and I emphasize might, actually put it back in there. So that would be great.
Yes, there you go.
What are the chances?
So one of my favorite things to put on an end table, it's probably yours too, is a lamp. To me, that's the
Yes.
most critical thing, because we've talked about how we love lamp light in a room, and how you don't just want overhead light. So in a living room, usually these are two of the few spaces that you have surfaces where you can put a lamp. So,
Anita, I just did a mental inventory of all my side tables, and every single one has a lamp on it.
oh, there you go. Good for you.
So
Okay, I'm
important.
doing that right now. Okay, no.
No,
No.
but your
Oh.
end tables. Do your end tables have lamps?
Not all my end tables have lamps.
Well,
I
besides your
actually only
sofa,
have-
we're kind of defining these by your sofa.
Okay,
So
so
for
my
chairs.
on either side of my sofa, I only have a place to put an end table on one side, because there's this big piece of furniture that's sort of built in there. But I do have one lamp there, and then I have the nesting tables next to one of those Brugere chairs that we talked about recently, and that has a lamp on it.
Well, and actually, my end tables. Now that I step back and say this, my end tables are so, because of the trays. There's not a lot of space there. I ended up putting the lamps on the sofa table behind the sofa, so that to free up
smart.
space on the end tables. But if I didn't have the sofa table, I would absolutely have those lamps on the
Okay.
end table.
Okay, here's a tip for this. And again, it's a tip. It's it's sort of a rule, or it's a guideline. So the bottom, and you can see why you would have this. The bottom of the lampshade on an end table lamp shouldn't fall higher than eye level when you're seated on the sofa or the chair that's placed next to the lamp. So you
Oops.
really don't want to be looking up into the light bulb.
Right,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. But I tend to put pretty tall lamps on them, so that does happen. And I have to retract my last statement. On a second quick inventory, I do have,
Okay.
well, I just can't, I do have lucite nesting tables that I would consider, they're a side table, and I don't have a lamp on that. So that's the only one. And don't forget, lucite's gorgeous for a side table.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's so great. And the nesting part, you can move
And
them
you
around.
could use the garden stools that you talked about the other day.
Oh,
You
they
definitely
make-
use the garden
yes.
stools. You mentioned
They
you
tend to
might-
be short, though.
They tend to be shorter. If you have a storage issues and you want to create some more storage, you could do some sort of chest or a wicker chest or something. It might be something that you're not going to use all the time because you want to take the lamp off and all the other stuff.
Right.
But could be a great place to put photo albums that you're not looking at all the time, or if you live in a place that's warm most of the time, the occasional gloves and scarves could go in there. Stuff you're just not going to be digging out every single day. Wood stumps are such a popular look
Oh,
for
yeah,
end
that's
tables
true.
now.
They are. That's
and
true.
they don't take up much space. Even stacks of books people sometimes use
That's
as
a
end
pretty
tables.
big stack, I would think. But I
Yeah,
suppose
I'd
you
have
could.
to glue those suckers together. They'd have to
those-
really
that's-
stay.
Because then
great
somebody puts
idea.
the drink on and boop, all over the floor.
But that's a very interesting look, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it sounds fun.
Okay.
Also, stone columns. So something that you might think about in your garden.
Your Corinthian columns,
Which
Anita.
I've got in my guest quarters. So, yes.
Yeah.
I
So
love
again,
that.
they're probably in the range of the garden stool. They're a little bit shorter, but I think when you have the shorter ones, especially if you have a room and you don't have room for a coffee table, or you're doing more of a little grouping rather than a big square or rectangle coffee table, you can have the smaller end tables, these more accenty type end tables.
Yeah.
A
It
little
doesn't
bit
take
in
much
front,
space.
right? So, like, if you were sitting on the sofa, it would be sort of a little off to the left or off to the right, not on either side. Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
I do.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Oh, well, we talked about the lamp, and Monica brought up the coasters.
I keep coasters on one of my end tables in every of my family room and of my living room.
Well, and before we get to what to put on it, I am going to suggest that what you don't put, or what you need to do, is leave a little space for your book that you're reading or your drink that you're drinking from. So
yeah, let it be
I like
useful.
to leave a little.
Good idea.
So that's kind of something you definitely want to leave some space there, and don't use that whole surface.
That is really a good idea.
So I love to have like some bottles or pitchers, because I love these old vintage bottles and pitchers, and kind of have them with some stacks of books, so you have different heights of things. But that's kind of some of my favorite things to put on end tables.
I would say here's another thing, Anita, that I don't do. I don't make an elaborate vignette. Usually my coffee table has, and my coffee tables in both of my rooms have a bigger vignette, and I only think at least for me, one large vignette per room is quite enough.
Oh, I agree. Very simple. I mean, there's not a lot of space there, and it's really, you don't
Right.
want this to be the focus. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, empty vintage bottles are kind of a negative space anyway.
They
You kind of see them, but you
are.
don't see them. They're like your ghost chairs. So I think that's a nice thing to have. Or
What about a
cloches,
little-
you know, I love the
Oh,
cloches.
yes. How's your ivy doing, by the way?
It's alive, darling. It's absolutely doing splendidly.
Oh, okay.
Good. But that's what I would put on, a small plant. Now,
great idea.
I've been getting into putting some small plants. I don't go into that like, okay, I'm living in a jungle look. That's just sort of not me because I like sort of a cleaner space. But just like something really small, or you know those air ferns in a really cute little something, just something tiny
yeah.
would look nice on a little stack of burlap covered books.
Yeah,
or
or a
regular
succulent.
books.
A little succulent.
Or succulents if it's near a window.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they don't need as much light as people think they do. So it might be
Oh.
happy. I mean, it has to have some light, but it's not the blazing hot sun that people think of, like with cactuses.
Yeah, or
Succulents,
maybe
okay.
a
Yeah.
faux succulent, and then you don't have to
dare
worry
I
about
say,
it.
a faux succulent.
There you go. Go ahead, Anita. We can't kill that one. That's right.
Well, I
That's a
think there's
very
just
good
not a lot
idea.
of real estate, especially on my side tables. This little sort of hexagon one that I'm telling you about, the pedestal one, is probably, oh my gosh, maybe 15 inches, at the best. So when I have my lamp base and then I have my little stack of these darling little silver coasters that I have, there's really not a lot of room. So I'll just put something a little bit higher. I have a little tiny bust, a little metal bust of a woman. Sometimes I put that over there. But I agree with you both. I want to have a place to use the coaster and put my tea or put my glass down, and maybe readers or your book or something like that. So it's a functional space as well. So you don't want to somebody feel like they have to slide it
true.
all over to actually use it.
And in my family room, instead of a traditional side table, I got an old desk and painted it. And
Is it must be a smaller desk?
It's sort of petite. It's an old one, so it's not a very big one, but it's still high, and it's on casters, so it rolls around, which I really like.
That
But,
sounds charming.
All that we have on that, for the most part, is a big lamp. Usually, I have some kind of flowers or small plants on it, and a stack of books, because that's a great place to put, like you said, your readers, the book you're reading, a stack of magazines, a drink. And I like that because it has a lot of space on it, so we can do that. Now, the thing is that whoever's using that, when they're done, they have to pick it all up so it looks nice. And that can be a problem sometimes in my house.
Yeah. What about family photos? Do you ever put those on your end tables?
Oh, I have.
in
Well,
frames?
but on mine, it's kind of hard since our sofa's in the middle of the room. You have to be careful because half the time things are going to be looked at. Most of the time, they're going to be looked at from the back.
Excellent point. If
So-
people have that same
Yeah,
setup, you're looking
yeah.
at the back of a
So you might,
a
if you
photo.
did that on this kind of a table, you might want to have two picture frames back to back, so
Or
that
like
no
a
matter
cube or
what angle
something.
you're looking at, you'd be
Yeah.
seeing the front. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, now, my sofa in the living room is up against the front windows, and so the end table is up against the wall, so you're not seeing the back of it. So I do have. It's like actually funny because it's empty. I have two empty frames right now in my living
Random
room.
people's
pictures-
picture in it.
Yeah, is it
I-
like the pictures that came in the frames? Is that what you have?
No, because of course I bought the frames at a thrift store for
Oh,
a buck or
that's
something
true.
like
I got
that.
it now.
Actually, one said
What were we thinking, Nina?
Yeah.
We know who we're
I don't
talking
know.
to.
One still had the little price tag, like $4 on it. I had to take that off.
Oh, she's a mini pearl.
I have to go through. I want to put some black and whites in there. So either I have to make some newer pictures black and whites, or I want to look for some older pictures. But I do like the way that looks. I wouldn't want, necessarily a color photo in there for what's going on in my room, but I think the black and whites might look really well. Or I love vintage postcards. And I was just at the,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
great
My
idea.
family took me to the Rose Bowl flea market for Mother's Day and so we were going through. It really took a long time, and they were very patient with me. And we went through this whole section of old Pasadena
What a nice
postcards.
gift.
They're very nice, and I bought some of those. So I thought maybe I would put one of those in that frame.
That would be very pretty.
Very
And that
nice.
doesn't a frame because it's standing upright. It gives you some height, and it doesn't take up a lot of the real estate.
Now, I don't have any personal pictures downstairs, and that's for no other reason than because I'd have to keep taking them down when I blog and take photographs for my blog.
Because if anybody saw pictures of Bobby, they would be so distracted.
They would.
by
Oh,
his
yes.
handsome
Exactly. Yep.
DIY guy that you got there. They couldn't even read your post.
This is true.
Yeah.
Truly.
So also, and I just did this last night because we had a little photo shoot at the house yesterday. So I was kind of fluffing around here and there, and I have these little silver. What are they? Like, they're not a trophy, but they're kind of like giveaways. They have different, maybe for a dinner or something like that. You could find them at estate sales and yard sales, and it might say, such and such banquet, and have the year on it. Have you seen those?
But it looks like a trophy?
the little silver cups.
It's a participation trophy.
Something like that.
Well, my trophies are all real
Like,
trophies.
you wouldn't drink out of it, but there's these little silver cups, and then there's a lot of reproductions of them that you see around. But I have a bunch of those, and they're perfect to put like 2 little sprigs in.
Oh,
And
perfect.
Oh,
I
that's
put
so
them
cute.
on all the end tables with some iceberg roses and a little piece of greens yesterday, and it looks so pretty.
Oh, that
very
does
nice.
sound pretty. Did you find those at the Rose Bowl?
I'm sure I have bought some of those at the Rose Bowl. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, I should get another one. They're like, oh wow, I already have 15.
Yeah. Well,
We
but
can put them with the other ones.
So nice. This will just finish my collection.
But they're exactly. Never
Oh,
finish
my
the
goodness.
collection.
Well, we didn't talk about another kind of table that I really love, and that's a round pedestal table.
Oh, well, I do love those.
Me too.
I have one. Oh goodness, it's so old, but it was a very good one, and I bought it. Decades ago, and it was cherry. So cherry. I just didn't want, but it wasn't like a real red cherry. It was sort of a lighter, and I ended up, and it had this beautiful pedestal that had this big sort of pineapple, real hand carved at the bottom.
Oh,
And
pretty.
so, but it just was a lot of cherry. So I ended up painting the base. And sometimes when you do that, you bring out that the carving on it looks exquisite.
Well, yeah, the paint, if it's hand
It
carved
highlights it.
and you paint it, you can see the details. So it's not so
Yes.
dark.
Yes. Now that's stashed up here with the 27 boxes of hardwood flooring
Oh.
in my master bedroom, because we have a sitting room off of that, and that's what we're going to use up here because it's just the perfect. You can get a lot of bang for your buck with a round end table.
Yeah.
You can put a nice light on it. It doesn't take up a lot of room, and it just has a real pretty. That round has a real pretty different feel to it.
Yeah, and sometimes those are a little bit taller, like Anita likes. So I
Yes,
think that
you're
looks
right.
really nice. And if you don't want to be asking people to use coasters, or you don't have a cute pile of coasters yet, you can always put a tray on top of your end table and then sort of arrange the things on that. So then people would probably naturally put their glass on the tray
Right.
rather than, maybe your lamp base is not going to fit on there, but that could be off to the side, and then you could have the tray, or sometimes the tray is large enough and it could cover the entire surface.
And depending on your needs, you may need that space depending on how big your room is, or how many horizontal surfaces you have. Think about maybe putting a floor lamp sort of
Oh,
between.
that's another option. Yeah, if you don't have room for the table. Yeah.
Exactly. And then just put your table, or just if you just want to use the table, just put a floor lamp sort of behind the arm of a sofa, and then just put your end table there if you need it to place things on.
That's a
that
great
could-
point. That makes me
Yeah.
think of something that I did in our former house. Is the couch again? Was along the wall, so it's up against the wall, and there wasn't really room. That was the red couch with ultimately all the DNA on it. So it was
Yes.
a very big,
Yes.
very big, very well used, well loved sofa, and I had a very narrow rectangle. Rectangle table sort of wedged into the corner, but you really wouldn't be able to put a great lamp on it. So I got sconces from Lamps Plus, and I didn't even have to have them hardwired. It was the kind that you can plug in, and then I just got the metal channel that you can just screw into. And so I had those coming over, probably a quarter of the way in on either side. So then if somebody was sitting there reading something, you had a down light. Because sometimes if you have a floor lamp, they're configured such as the light is shining up. So you might want to think about finding something that either arcs over or, the light is bending down. So you can have it help you when you want to read or do a task there.
I think using those sconces, what a good idea. And it does save the real estate on your end tables to put other things on.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good idea.
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And the deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
Yeah, and you could even do, a bowl of fruit there or something if you want to be really nice if I'm coming over, because I like a little fruit.
And you want your bowl of peaches?
That's right, a bowl of peaches. Oh, that would make me so happy.
Well, if our peach trees, sometimes the peach trees don't produce, and I'm hoping that this is the year they will. So you have to come in July when we have our peach tree producing, and I'll have a bowl of fruit on an end table for you, Anita.
Sounds heavenly. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay,
I'm there.
Well,
we'll
hey,
put,
it's a
we'll
short
put the date
trip.
we're all going to meet for the peaches in the show.
There you go. And anybody else in our area, the day we're meeting is welcome to come as well.
Awesome. Well, today was so much fun. And again, if you want to send us some photos of something that you might have painted, we would love to see that, or your end tables or your vignettes. We love seeing everything that you guys are creatively putting together. And when you're inspired by something you might have heard on the podcast, it really makes our day.
We
right? It was
love
so
it.
much fun. And we've been sharing some of them on Facebook, and we're going to continue to do that. So go ahead. We'll put, again, our email in the show notes, and you can send us your pictures.
Right, but it's decoratingtipsandtricks.com@gmail.com.
Yes, yes, it is.
No, what did I say? Decoratingtipsandtricks@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. You got it right.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. You got it right.
You got it right the second time, Anita. Good.
Oh,
for
was it
you.
right?
I think I threw in an extra .com.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I didn't want to confuse
No, you need
anyone.
to, because we don't want people sending them to somebody else.
And we do. We love to get your pictures. We send them back and forth, and we ooh and ah over them. So it's like sending them to your good friends.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like we are.
Yeah,
That's exactly
Like.
right.
What?
That's exactly right.
All right, so we'll be waiting on bated breath to get some photos and whatnot. So, and in the meantime, we want you to remember that we're here to help you create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy, and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.